Hi, I'm Dr. Hina Talib, and I am here today to talk to you about the 3R's, which is a tool that can be used to help your family reduce the inevitable family strain that we have been facing. I myself am a mother of a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old, almost 5-year-old, and I've been working from home. Sometimes I go in to see patients, and sometimes I'm working from home. And so I have a lot of empathy for the family strain that has come up, trying to balance our roles and our time for our families. I am also an adolescent medicine specialist, so I primarily take care of tweens, teens, and young adults. And so I'll try to touch on tips on how to handle both the littles and the olders in your lives. So, the tool that I want to talk to you all about today is called the 3R's. So, the first R is reassurance, and the next R is routines, and the last R is regulation. This is a really nice sort of framework for you to keep in mind when, again, you're facing those inevitable challenging moments that you might be having. So let's start with the first R, reassurance. So reassurance is so important for the child, your partners, for pretty much every member of the family to feel heard and to feel valued. And especially when it comes to adolescence, you really want to listen. I mean, really, with anybody, you really want to listen. And active listening means nodding, leaning in, repeating statements. Did I get that right? Did I hear you right? Simply saying, I'm here to listen, I'm here for you. These statements can be really nurturing. And then for little children, and as well as older children, especially in light of the pandemic and everything that we're facing with all the changes that keep happening, reaffirming that they are safe. It can't be understated. You are safe. You are safe with me. I am here for you. We are safe together. This is what we're doing as a family to keep ourselves safe. I love you. I love you. I love you. I got you. I got you. I got you. This sort of reassurance is invaluable. When it comes to our school age children and our teens who are trying to manage this really hard task of learning from home, as well as going through adolescence and coming of age during this time, letting them know that we don't expect perfection, that our goals may shift for the year, and they do for us in our work lives as well. That those sorts of reassurances about sort of fighting perfectionism can also be very helpful as we're trying to help our families go through this. So, reassurance, which really means listening, being there, having empathy, showing empathy, validating all members of your family and even yourself. It's very, if I could say one thing now and I'll say it again at the very end, you are doing enough. You're actually doing better than you think you are as someone who is trying to juggle this really difficult situation and changing situation of juggling work life and home life and new roles of having to then be a teacher and mental health support for our families. So reassurance, reassure ourselves and reassure our family members. The second R is routines. And I know that sometimes people, share with you these very intricate routines for the days that are helpful for children and families. Throw all of that out. To be honest, the routines that work best for your family, you know best and your family knows best. Your family knows best what feels good as a family. For some families, it feels good to play board games. For some families, they cook together. For some families, they play a sport together. For some families, they build something together. Whatever it is that your family kind of clicks at or does well with, whatever strength you've had as a family in the past, lean into that and make that part of your routines. It is important to have a routine. It is important to have a wake up time that's set every day, even if their hybrid schedules are different start times on different days. It's a great thing to start your day off with a family huddle, with family breakfast at the same time. And this is a good time to sort of troubleshoot the day, to plan the day of when you're available for them, when you will be spending time with them, checking in with them, and when you may not be available. Like this is, an important meeting at this time that I'm not available. And so it's important for all members of the family to know kind of what that day-to-day what the framework is for the day-to-day. So those sorts of routines and family check-ins. And so for some families, the morning is the best time to have this check-in. For some families, it's in the middle of the day when your eyes are weary and everybody, meets again for lunch or during their recess time. And for other families, it can be at the end of the day. For some families, it's on the weekends when they routinely go for an errand like grocery shopping or something else. And that can be the time that they spend with their children in the car. For teens especially, car time to connect is invaluable. So routines, just think about where you can have a time of day or a time of week that is protected and that is a priority for your family to connect. And it could even be when you're not actually speaking to each other. So you could actually just be doing a puzzle quietly, sitting together and reading a book. Some families have instituted a screen-free or a social media-free hour of the day, or Saturday morning or Sunday morning, where everybody puts every device away for 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. But the point is that you disconnect to connect. So think about what is true, what rings true for your family, and lean into that. So that's my advice for you on routines, especially when you're trying to manage the work from home and the remote learning. These routines, these check-ins, so that they know when to expect your help and your attention, can be really, really helpful. The last R is, so the first R was reassurance, then the second R was routines, and the very last R is regulation. And regulation is us helping our children regulate themselves, but also regulating ourselves. And in fact, regulating ourselves and kind of checking our own emotions can be the most important of all. Getting on the same page as your partner in the household, if you have a partner, is really helpful here. So if you are on the same page when it comes to sort of the plan for the day, the priorities for the day or the week, that can be very helpful from the outset. So regulating yourself, really listening to yourself, practicing coping skills for the ones that work for you, and planning and practicing coping skills for the children and the teens and tweens around you. Especially for the tweens and teens, they often lack motivation to try a coping skill that they might not be comfortable with or haven't reached for before. But you just offering and saying out loud, I'm gonna go for a quick walk outside because I'm feeling like my eyes are hurting and I have a headache, or I'm feeling a little bit stressed with this work project and maybe it'll clear my head. Would you like to join me? And so inviting them for a coping skill that you're trying, mindfulness, breathing, there's a lot of coping skills. And again, it's hard to say what works best for any individual child or family, but the point is to really be trying yourself and with your little people around you. They're listening, they're watching. Even if they say no 10 times, keep asking if they'd like to go for a quick run, if they'd like to stretch, do yoga with you, if they'd like to try an app and just listen to a meditation and just see how that goes, if they'd like to journal with you. Some families have been doing the 3 Good Things journal, which is really actually helpful. It's proven that if you do this every night for at least a week, it can actually lift a low mood. And it's very simple, really. You just write down 3 good things from your day. So some families write these down and put them in a jar and read them at the end of the week. If you have younger children, if you have older teens, it can be something that they do on the notepad on their iPhone. It could be something that you share with each other. It could be something that you don't share with each other. But all of these, coping skills, eating healthy, getting enough sleep, protecting yourself against too much screen time, so that you have time to do these other things like moving your body and perhaps cooking or learning a new skill. All of these are important coping skills during these really most unusual and uncertain times. And so really regulating yourself, practicing these things yourself, saying out loud to whoever might be listening, why you're about to do what you're going to do, and then how you felt, say they didn't join you, but when you returned from that coping skill, how you felt, how it helped, how it made you feel. And super important to also always remember to shout out the positives and the strengths that you see in your family members, especially your littles. So I noticed that you did, that you helped me out with this. Thank you so much. Or I noticed that you stopped and took a break. That seemed like it really helped. That was really smart. Maybe I'll try it too. Really being comfortable with sharing some of your vulnerabilities during this hard time can help for bonding too, especially if you have tweens or teens. So this is the framework that I wanted to share with you. Again, it's called the 3R's. Reassurance, make them feel safe, make them feel heard, make them feel valued and loved. Routines, let them know that you're there to check in on them and that you will be checking in on them in some way, shape, or form, whatever feels right for your family. And regulation. And, again, I want to end with just saying, you are probably doing better than you think you are. These are really unusually difficult times. Giving yourself some grace and cutting yourself some slack not only is good for you, but your children are watching and they will see you pivot and they will see you show yourself some kindness, and they will be filled with that kindfulness moving forward. So I hope these tips were helpful. Again, I'm in the bunkers with you guys. I have my hands full with toddlers and trying to manage working from home myself. And there are good days and there are bad days. And I try to move on quickly from the bad days, and the wins that I have, I do try to give myself a pat on the back and celebrate, no matter how big or small. I am around. If you're interested in more specifically pediatrician or teen health content, I am actively sharing health education on Instagram. You can find me at Teen Health Doc, teen like a teenager, at Teen Health Doc, and I am Dr. Hina Talib. Thank you for spending this time with me, and I wish you well.